This is Mastering Mathematics with your teacher, Karen Weston.
Hello, right, we're back again today. Welcome to this in another series, Mastering Mathematics, sponsored by the Ministry of Education through its EBU unit and ABS television. We're not going to talk too much today because we have some problems to do, and we have to talk to our grade 6 students. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting out very quickly for my 5th formers to get into the grade 6 students, and grade 2 and grade 4 too, because they're taking exams. Can't afford to let them out of the leash. And at the same time, we send our message to our grade 4 and our grade 5 and our grade 2 teachers and our grade 3 teachers. Last night, I left you with this problem. Looks familiar, okay? And we were asking you to find RM. And I had drawn out your triangle ORM, put on our directions, because we know every time we have to find a side, it is just looking and seeing which is the resultant, which is the side, or what are they asking me for. And on this triangle, we can see again that fitting right into each other like this, and this coming in the opposite direction tells us that this line is our resultant, and the RM that we are asked for is a side. So then, in order to find RM would be equal to the resultant, which is OM. So it would be little m, and it is minus the other side, which is k upon 2. And that is the answer. All right? Every vector question can be solved using a triangle. They have also asked you to find KS. KS. And we're looking up here. And this is where K and S is right here. So this time, KS. So you put the arrow in direction that they have asked you for. We can get off some of these down off the board now so that we can see, because we're not going to be using this big triangle to find what they're asking us for. Every time we draw off just our little triangle, so that we're dealing with 3 lines. We want to see which are the sides and which is the resultant. So in asking us to find KS, we are going to take off our little triangle OKS, right? And we can see what we have. What did they say S was? S is a point on OM such that OS is equal to a third of OM. So that if the whole length of OM is little m, then this would be a third of little m. So we can write it as m upon 3. And I want you to know that a third m is the same thing as m upon 3. And we have to be able to remember that for the multiple choice. Because when they're going to ask you which one is the same as, so you can have it as a third m, or you can have it as m upon 3. Please note that they are the same, okay? And just for convenience, we would like to write it as m upon 3 this time. But I wanted you to see that it is the same thing as you're seeing a third m, okay? So our triangle here, with what they're asking us to find, it is O, and it is K, and it is S. The arrows mean so much because they identify what we are after, okay? So this arrow, and again, you'd always say, remember, you're starting from a pointer. You can close your eyes and say OS, and this is OK. OK, the length of that was K. OS, where it is on this one, is m upon 3, and we have to find, and they say we are going from K to S, so the arrow is in that direction. Okay, so if we're finding KS, you will see again that this is fitting in like this, going into that. So again, we have that this is a side, so that KS would be equal to, and the resultant, because we can see that this point is coming to put upon this point here, right? So we know right away that this is the resultant. So KS is equal to M upon 3, and it is minus K. And that is the answer. All right, so they were asking us right there for our KS. And lastly, they want you to find RS. Okay, RS. So again, remember R was the midpoint of OK. So this is the little triangle they're asking you for. So again, we can draw out our triangle ORS. So yes, we draw out our triangle, and here, so you're just sketching it just to help you in terms of saying this is R and this is S, and arrow going in that direction, yes, and OS going in this direction. We know that OS is M upon 3. Now, remember that R was the midpoint of the line OK, and if the whole length of OK is equal to K, then OR would be equal to K upon 2. What's another way of writing that? K over 2. What's another format, and it is the same thing? Yes, it's the same thing as writing a half K. Do not forget that, okay? Because it's going to be important when you get to your multiple choice that you understand that K over 2 is the same thing as a half K. And all they're asking us to find here, let's put on, the arrow was going here, the arrow is going, yes, there. And this, they're asking us to find RS. And once again, what do we have? It's a side, so it is the resultant, which is OS. So we're going to say RS is now equal to OS, which is M upon 3, and it is minus OR, which is K upon 2. Now, there's nothing at all that's wrong here. We can choose to leave it like this, but if you had to simplify this, let's just take you into something, because again, for your multiple choice paper, you have got to realize that certain things are the same. So if they're going to be asking you to identify which one of these would be the choice for your solution, you must know. This operates along the same thing that we do with fractions, so that our LCM could have been 6, and we're just cross multiplying the numbers. 2 times m, so it's 2m, and it's minus 3k. All right, so this could have been represented as 2m minus 3k all over 6. And again, we want you to understand that that could have been written as 1/6 times 2m minus 3k. And that is going to be important for us to understand, because remember what we said about that property of parallelism? They may give you another line that has this as a common factor, and you would have to know how to get that too. So work the sums, make certain you sit down, practice, thus give yourself a little practicing session so that you can see, how can I write this? Is there another format for this? Or is this the end of that particular sum? Okay. Now, I'm going to stop at this particular point in terms of our vectors. The others I'll put on the website so that you can see. But you can also go to the www.cxc.org website and you will get the papers. Again, from the Ministry of Education, because we are playing our part, because we have vowed to make certain that education becomes a doorstep experience. You can ask the examination officer and he will electronically email these to you as long as you give him your email too, the past papers. And we have to practice because we know what we have to do. And don't forget that you can ask, phone in 783-6971 and I will answer you. I'll tell you or put you on to somebody. Remember to use our email and you will get, they will come up on the screen so that you can see them and you will get help every time. We have our volunteers too. I'll give you some of the names another time so that you know within your community you can also be asking for help. Now we have to go on to our primary department because they too have an exam to negotiate to make certain the little students who are listening, and they do listen to the stuff, also are familiar with what is going on. So the next time we get back here, we will be seeing that I'll be talking to our grade 6 and our grade 2 and our grade 4 teachers and students, just preparing them for the exam. Take your break and just rest a little, and we'll be right back.
Be sure that you're working in the same units of measure when performing calculations. If a problem involves inches, feet, and yards, be sure to make the appropriate conversions so that all your values are in the same unit of measure. For example, change all values to feet. When asked to show work or justify your answer, don't be lazy. Write down everything about the problem, including the work you did on your calculator. Include diagrams, calculations, equations, and explanations written in complete sentences. Now is the time to show off what you really can do with this problem.
All right. Now it's time to talk to our teachers in our primary schools and to make them understand too, just as we prepare and we want to make certain that fifth formers pass an examination, so too we want to make the transition from primary to secondary a very good and worthwhile exercise for our grade 6 students. First thing that comes up, and I know you want me to address, is the project. The project is not supposed to be anything that is sweating parents, stressing students, but something for them to show that they would have been in a class, they have learned different concepts, because we have consumer arithmetic, we have statistics, we have measurement, and we also have fractions and different aspects of mathematics. That's the whole idea I want to bring to you. It is not a project that has them sitting down in a classroom and trying to say, okay, they can't read, they're not good at so-and-so, so we're going to make them work some problems. Working a problem comes as fun if it's a part of their project where they may have a shop and they are the ones saying, a customer comes in and this is how I prepared my bill, and this is what the receipt, for a receipt to give back to the customers, this is what I had to do. But do not have them sitting down and saying they're planning problems, because it's going to help them in the second part of the examination. We want it to be something like the constructionist approach, where they're taking the mathematics and showing us how they can use it in the environment. Therefore, what do we need? We need you, first of all, on that paper to tell us what was the goal for the project, what was your objective, how you went about it, and how it was prepared. What did you learn? And where in the real world you think you can use that. Teachers, you're responsible first of all for giving the students a grade. Then after that it comes to me, and I'll be checking and saying. And we should always be gearing our students to do the best. And that is all we're asking for. No big sweat, nothing. Don't put parents through too much expense. Make it be a worthwhile exercise. When they think back about primary school days, they're going to remember that project. Oh, we have gotten some lovely, lovely projects. And as soon as I get into where we're going to be calling our mathematics work site, if I don't have the fair or the exhibition before, you are going to see some of them. And yes, they came from students within the primary school. Apart from that, what do we want for our grade 6 students? Yes, you must make certain that the vocabulary that is being used, you know how your questions are. Let them see that they understand those words. Pick them out. Next week, I'm going to have some of those words because I have asked teachers in the primary school to give me the terms that they are using so that the students, I can make certain that those students are familiar with those particular terms. We need them to know their tables. We need them to know the algorithm in terms of adding and subtraction, division, the different place values. And you're paying special attention, not just giving them straightforward questions that they're saying, you're going to a shop and you're going to buy 2 pounds of rice, 3 pounds of so-and-so. They are going to go to a shop and they're buying where they're going to get 3 for something. 6 for a dozen, 6 for X amount of dollars, 1 for something. All right. So if you're going to buy, so we're going to buy 3 mangoes or 6 mangoes for $5, how much mangoes would you be getting for $20? These are the sort of questions we want. Build it up slowly, but make certain that you can get them doing it. And it can be done. But all Antiguans must make certain that our students are producing the best and are operating at that particular level. No, we're not going to have all A students. No, we're not going to have all B students. But we are going to give them the opportunity to say, yes, I can achieve. And if I have come this far, I can go a little further. And that is what we're asking. Now, we also have, can you imagine? Yes, our grade 2 little students, because what we're actually doing in education is to make certain that we are looking, assessing where the weaknesses are as early as possible, so that for our grade 2 and our grade 4 students, it's not a summative test. This is for the teachers themselves who would love to know what is the weakness, where are the shortcomings, how can we prepare better for our students. And so we start testing, and this is a formative test because it is for us to make the corrections to the content that we may need to readjust and to do a little different than what we did. So what are we saying then? For our grade 2 students, we want them to know the basic stuff that will be a part of their curriculum. And the questions, they're easy, they're not timed. Whenever they finish the exam, that is when the paper is taken from them. All we give them, they get a little mental test because we also want them to be generating and can hold numbers and can see what is. It is the same with our grade 4. So we're testing them at the beginning, middle way, which is our grade 4. We're actually giving them that type of test too, seeing that they are comprehending what is being taught. This is a test to make certain that symbolically the transformation can be made with the questions being set into mathematical symbols. So it is something for us again to use as a diagnostic test to see that our students are performing at the level that they should be at that particular age. We are going to be giving them questions too. So I think there will be on the website a little thing for them, because I would want them to know things like what number stands for 7/10. What number stands for 7/10, okay? And we tell them that they must know the difference between, let's take off this now, the difference between if somebody's asking 7 tens, 7 tens, and 7 tenths. Okay? So these are the things that we need and must make certain that students in a primary school can distinguish. Of course, we tell them all the time, as long as you would see your TH, that we're into the realms of the decimals, okay? And then this would be coming up as our first number, so you'll be having 0.7, as opposed to 7 tens, where we would be getting our answer to be 70. All right, so our students must be able to distinguish between those things. And parents, you can make it fun time, just giving them these little exercises 2 every day, and you will be surprised to see how your students have grown. All right, yes, I will continue to educate you, apart from giving you just the problems, but also to sensitize you into what you have to do in order to prepare your students to be better students working in school and to become self-taught individuals too. Teachers, we will work with you, and in the meantime, even if we don't have all the resources, let us make do with what we have, because we can make a difference in somebody's life. So next time we'll continue this discussion. We'll make certain that we bring the topics to you. Next week again, I said, for my 5th formers, we're going to get into a new topic, which will be gradient. And for my grade 6 students, I'll be bringing in some problems for us to talk about too. And of course, the grade 2s and the grade 4s and anybody else, you can be listening and learning, because the more you listen, the more you sit, even with big people, you will understand and get new things. We're going to leave you today and ask you, as usual, to say a prayer for the Minister of Education, a prayer for all those who are suffering. Thank you for our donors and for Family Dentistry for making certain that Barbuda is not left out of the picture, and they too can feel a part of the exercise. Next time, I'm going to be telling you something too about this new STEM, which is Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics organization that has already been fashioned in the Caribbean, because we are going to reform education in this region and make certain that the colonial education that came here, which was a misfit for our environment, does not hinder progress that is required. Yes, I'll give you some more about the STEM organization, and to tell the science students that you have an opportunity to win a trip to go up to Kville in July to take part of a program that they're having to prepare our best science students in the region. And along with Mr. Spencer in the Ministry of Education, we will be telling you how you can apply for that and to make certain that you're part of that fellowship, because we're going to be spreading spice in terms of spreading education in science too. And mathematics is the foundation. So we're going to make certain that you're not left behind. Yes, continue to enjoy Mastering Mathematics, because it is one of the great shows, and we're going to make certain for your 21st century and beyond that you are not just a literate person, but an educated person. See you again.
Join us next time for another in the series, Mastering Mathematics, a production of the Education Broadcasting Unit in the Ministry of Education and ABS TV.